Hey guys, welcome back to Always Kadaisha podcast, where I'm always Kadaisha and you're always you. How are you guys doing? The summer is starting to shine. We are all starting to glow. I got my hairdo, looking cute. So we are shining and thriving. And if you are feeling any negative emotions, I just want you to know that it will not last forever because I deal with negative emotions like every single day, probably like everyone else does. But it's about the way you respond. So just know that it's not forever. Something I want to start new is this idea of every episode when we get into the nitty gritty, kind of talking about like life and whatever we want to talk about. I want you to give yourself a question with the topic. So today we're going to talk about comparison and jealousy. I want you to think about a question or an answer or anything, one thing that makes you jealous, one thing that makes you compare yourself. And then towards the end, I want you to come back to that question and see how you can improve that specific one thing. So that's something I'm going to try, and let me know if that works for you, if you feel like you hold accountability, and also writing it down in the comments or writing it down like in your notebook or whatever you want to do to like get that inspiration. So let me know how that goes, okay? All right. So this podcast is going to be more towards jealousy than actual comparison because I think I did a video on that like I think that was literally like the last episode or the second. I can't really remember, but I feel like jealousy is something that I really want to talk about more this episode. We all have dealt with jealousy in our own way. Honestly, it is a normal human emotion. So when you feel this urge of jealousy, do not get upset at yourself because we experience it. It's a normal human emotion. It's when it starts to become envy or when it starts to kind of take over your life. That's when it starts to get a little hectic. So, I will give you a little bit about my story. Growing up, honey, I was a hater. I was very jealous hearted. I might have not came out that way, but in the inside, I literally was very jealous. Like, I wasn't the prettiest girl in school, like, especially like middle school, and like, I just wasn't like the person, I wasn't the it girl. That's all I'm gonna say. And it would used to make me feel so bad about myself. I dealt with a lot of weight issues. I was overweight. I had anxiety, so I wasn't really great with talking to people. I had a lot going on with my family dynamic. Life just wasn't giving what it needed to give at that moment. So when I would hear about girls like, having great times with their parents or being like called pretty and like all these things and like kind of praised and like sometimes I felt like I worked really hard and no one cared. So I would be very jealous and I would kind of internalize that and it started to make me feel really bad about myself. And now me being older, I rarely get jealous. Like I don't really do all that anymore. And if I do get jealous, it's more of a I kind of look at myself and I'm like, well, what's going on with me? Because it has nothing to do with this person. Because sometimes that jealousy can turn into negative emotions like hate and envy, and we don't want that, okay? Okay. So I first want to talk about like why do we get jealous? Like why is it a thing that we do? Well, the reason is because there's something missing in your own life typically. There's something that you want that you don't have and that person has. So, for example, one of the things everyone wants to achieve is the beauty in a way where they're seen by everyone, where they're magnetic and all that stuff. Another thing is people want some money. They see rich people, they get jealous. Another thing, they want the healthy, great relationships or whatever travel, whatever it may be. You are jealous because there's something that you want and that person has it and you don't, or you don't have it in a way. What I'm going to tell you now about jealousy is this is not a video to get rid of it because it happens and it's a normal human emotion. But jealousy is more of looking into that emotion, seeing what it's telling you, and learning how to turn it into something positive. You know, like when you get angry, when you get sad, they are negative emotions, but they help you. When you're sad, you're you're cleansing, you're figuring out why you're sad. When you're angry, when someone makes you mad, you're triggered typically. So you look within yourself and you're like, I'm angry because of X, Y, and Z. And then I'm like, well, I remember this time when I was, it's always back to childhood trauma. Jealousy is basically the same way. For example, let's think about this. Let's give an example, let's give an example. And I will give an example for me. So, weight has been an issue my whole damn life. I have always been overweight. Now I'm losing weight. I have lost 40 pounds so far. So, yay. And, I'm getting closer to my goals. But I was not a skinny child, okay? I was a little big. So, what I mean by this is I would compare myself and I would get jealous of girls that were skinnier than me because it seemed like they got treated better and I felt ugly and I felt disgusted. I sometimes got made fun of, like being told I look like a refrigerator. I've been told that. I mean, it made me really jealous. But now, what helped me get into my weight loss journey is that I told myself, well, first, I'm going to give myself compassion because I'm a human. If I'm being made fun of, if I'm being put down, if the world doesn't see me as beautiful, of course I'm not going to feel great about myself. Of course jealousy is going to happen because I'm shamed for being a big bitch. You know what I'm saying? So I realized that first, I give myself compassion. Then the second thing, I'm like, well, why am I jealous? Well, I'm jealous because I want to be skinny. But then I go deeper. I'm like, actually, I want to be seen. I want to be valued. I want someone to respect me. That's the real reason why I'm jealous. Because a lot of reason you feel jealousy is because there's a wound in you that wants to feel something. When you're jealous of a relationship, when you're jealous of love, all you're doing is craving something that you lack. So now that I'm like, well, I just want to be seen, then I'm like, well, then you decide, is being skinny something you truly want? Or is it just something that you want to feel valued in? And what I mean by this is it's okay to want to change. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. You can look at jealousy as inspiration because you could be like, oh, well, I do want to change my body for the better. And I see Becky over there, she changed her life for the better. So let me learn from her. I might feel these ideas of jealousy, but it's really saying I'm going to be inspired. It's easier said than done. It ain't easy. But you know what I mean? Like, you use that as inspiration instead of using it as envy because you're going to start hating someone that you barely know because most of the time we're jealous of people that we probably don't care about that damn much. You know what I'm saying? Or you could be like, well, maybe I don't really want to be that skinny. And maybe the reason I really feel that way is because I just don't feel valued and loved. That's probably the actual reason. So maybe let's figure out ways to feel more valued and loved because this is what's going to happen. Yes, the world does treat people better in certain circumstances. Pretty privilege, wealth, income, race, whatever it may be. Certain people are going to be treated better And that's just what it is. But once you put your value on that, you are going to be playing the people pleasing game your whole life. Okay, yes, maybe you are jealous of this girl because she looks this way. Okay, let's say you do lose the weight. Now someone over here saying, "Oh, you need to gain weight, honey." Or someone over here is like, "Oh, that's not the new trend anymore. Your hips need to be like this, your arm." Then you're going to be playing the wheel because you're not truly loving yourself. You're just trying to heal something and you keep opening that wound and you're putting a band-aid on it instead of just letting it heal naturally. So, my advice to you with jealousy is the first thing I want you to realize is it's normal. Don't let it get into envy and hate because that's when things get real and you start to internalize it. Secondly, look at it as either inspiration or look at it as transformation. So, look at it in a way of, okay, I don't have that money, but I'm jealous of this person that has it. So I'm going to find a way to get that because I can get it too. Or actually, I just don't feel seen and valued. And I feel like if I had money, I would. I do still want to make money, but maybe not as much. I'm going to transform myself. And that's really what you do. It's either a transformation or it's inspiration. When you pick something else in a negative sense, that's when it gets scary. So that's a little talk on my podcast about jealousy. And I want you to go back to that question or that answer that you had and see how you can use it for your life. So now we get into the end of the show, or really the segment where I just give you some random advice that I just am thinking about right now, and maybe someone needs to hear. You are lovable no matter what. The world is going to tell you you have to do this and you have to do that and you have to be this. Baby, really? I'm not condoning this, but you really don't got to do shit in life. Like you can be a bum and still be lovable. Think about it. Think about how many bums out there that are lovable. The people enabling them. Bums don't do shit, but they still getting treated like queens and kings. So why don't you think you deserve it? Hmm? Right. So I want you to know that no matter what you do, your love isn't on achievement. Your love is your essence. God loves you. God doesn't care who you are. He loves you. Don't ever think that you have to be this and that to be lovable. You can change, you can transform. I'm not saying you can't, but just know great things take time. When you rush it, it's not that great. So don't try to rush to get to this next thing because of jealousy as well too. Jealousy, that's a trick. The enemy wants to trick you. Baby, you have everything that you need right now and you are going to improve and your life is going to be great. But the first thing you need to do is learn how to love what you got now. Because you're going to be thinking 5 years, oh damn, like I should have honored that more because I do it every time. Okay, okay. But thank you guys for watching this. Once again, if you ain't you, I don't know what to tell you. Okay? Okay. So, like I said, please leave in the comments any other episodes you want to hear, you want to watch. And thank you so much for coming, guys. I love you guys and I appreciate you. Let's get this. Enjoy this summer and you're going to be great. Okay? Okay, bye.